Earful Tower listeners, I'm in the studio today with Eddie G, my little brother.
I'm back.
Regular listeners would have remembered him from the Sewers episode where he did the intro. How are you settling into that kind of fame?
It's been a wild ride, but I'm acclimatizing.
Well, I've got my voice back now, so we can do this together.
Thank God.
So, we're going to tell the story about when we first came to Paris.
10 years ago,
10 years ago. We're going to whip through it because there's a lot to get through, but it's a pretty good story.
Mm-hmm.
So, how old were you?
A young 12, I
A
believe.
young 12. And that's crucial for the story because I looked at the pictures and you were a very young 12.
12 going on 10.
12 going on 9 even, I thought. And I was 21, going on 22 even.
Good
yeah. And we both come to Paris for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we were living in Australia.
Mm-hmm. Visiting London, I believe.
Visiting
we jumped
London.
on a bus.
Yeah. And I was foolhardy because I'd just been traveling through Eastern Africa and I had everything will always work out attitude.
Was he right?
Well, you be the judge of that.
Yeah.
So we come down and for one night, took the overnight bus.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't talked about this story for, 8 years?
A long time.
We're saving it for you guys, listeners. And we're hoping that we can jog each other's memory.
Exactly.
So, long story short, we end up on the Champs-Élysées.
At dusk, I remember.
Dusk. And we said to each other, okay, time to find some accommodation. I don't know why we were there looking for accommodation.
Well, we thought we'd had a lovely day. I think we spotted a tourism booth and
That's
thought,
right.
Let's talk to this.
We were on the way to the Arc de Triomphe, which anyone will know is a very long walk along that Champs-Élysées. So we found a tourism booth, and we said to the woman working there, hey, just looking for a cheap hotel or backpackers for the night?
Yeah, what are our options?
And she listed out a few, and then said,
this is your best bet.
Yeah, she said, just making sure, of course, that you got the letter of consent from your parents because he's underage. He's a minor without a parent or a guardian. I said, what letter?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she said, you're going to need the letter. I said, I don't have the letter. Which, I don't know, according to her, was the French rule. I've never looked up if she was just messing with us.
I believed it at the time.
I believed it, and I said, well, we're not going to be able to get a letter because our parents are in Marrakesh,
That's
gallivanting
right,
around on some kind of wedding anniversary or something. And then I remember we talked about if we could forge one or anything.
Yeah, huh?
We were kind of in dire straits. She said, well, the bad news is it's the middle of summer. You're not going to get any backpackers, really.
Mm-hmm.
Your best bet's hotels. And without that letter, I mean, as God is my witness, you're going to struggle. That's what she said.
She was right.
That's my memory.
Mine too.
Then what happened?
I believe she said, go sit on that bench. Let me check for a few hotels for you.
That's right.
Come back in 5 minutes. So we did.
Was the bench comfortable?
It was pretty hard.
Yeah, right.
But we went back.
So we came back. She said, I got one option for you. This is before the days of the internet. So it was kind of hard to just search around like that. She goes, yeah, one option. And the price is, I don't remember the price that she said, but I almost fell off the bench. It was too much. We had no money.
We didn't have any money.
You didn't have any money.
I mean, yeah, literally.
I had very little. I had about £20.
So it was already out of the question.
So then I said,
what are the other options?
yeah, what else can we do? And she took I was going to say she took a big puff of a cigarette, but I'm not going to exaggerate in this story. This is true.
Breath.
She took a deep breath and said, you're going to have to sleep on a park bench or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And I was lost for words. But I was kind of upset, and we went back to the park bench and we sat there.
I remember we sat there in silence because I remember touching the bench and thinking, could I do it?
Yeah, you were sizing it up.
I was sizing it up.
Yeah, and I was thinking park bench, big deal. But
I wasn't.
You were a young 12 at the time.
I was a little upset.
I know. So I thought, how could I go back to London and tell our family that I made Eddie sleep on a bench? So we sat and we talked about it for a while. We didn't have phones, we didn't have internet, so we thought about it.
Yeah, the sun was setting.
Yeah, the sun was setting, and then we went back to her, and I said,
remember you said, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
And I stayed on the bench.
That's right. And I went back to her and I said, look, I know we haven't got off on the best foot here. I think she thought I was very immature.
I think so.
Yeah. And I said, listen, what would you do if you were in my boots here? What would you do if you were in my shoes? And she took a deep breath again. And she said, look, how old is your brother? I said, he's a young 12. And she said, look, my son is 12 and I would not want him to sleep on a park bench in Paris. I guess you guys can crash at my house. And then she said, let me just call my husband to make sure that it's okay. And I came back to the bench. I said, Eddie, look sweet, look happy. Look like a little lost orphan boy.
Look sad.
Look like Oliver Twist, I said.
That's right.
You said, who's Oliver Twist? I said, Dickens. You not read Dickens? Yeah.
Yeah.
You said, I'm 12. Remember?
I can't read.
So we went back. She said, yeah, it's okay. You can come. You guys should be a bit more prepared. But look, I'm going to make an exception. And then, as I remember it, she whisked us through the back streets of Paris. Mm-hmm. We got on a train. We went out to the suburbs somewhere. And we went into this amazing apartment with a view over the city. Yep. She had a lovely husband, lovely 3 kids. Yeah. And then the next morning, loaded us with pastries and planned out a beautiful day for us because she was a tour guide. And so she planned the perfect day. And we went back to London with the best story ever. And then 10 years have passed. I've moved to Paris since then, and I've often thought how I'd love to get in contact with that lady.
Why don't you?
I don't have any of her details.
Ah.
So listeners, this is going to be the story of how we try and track down our guardian angel.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Earful Tower with Oliver G.
So when you've got a mystery like this, you have to lay out your clues first.
Got it.
And first I'm going to ask you if you have any clues, because I've asked you to think about this before you came over from LA.
And I found in my brain one thing.
Go on.
I think her name was Marie,
Marie.
but it might have also been Maria.
Okay.
So half a clue.
So that's one definite thing that we got is
Got
that,
it.
well, you think.
Okay, I'm going to...
What we definitely have is we know she worked in a tour office box
In 2008.
at the Champs-Elysees.
Okay.
That's very
That's
weak
definite.
clue.
But we can go from there.
Okay, and she might have been called Marie.
So that's
Maria.
what I've got.
So that's what you brought to the table. Well, I've got a surprise for you.
Uh-huh.
I went through my Facebook pictures from 2008. I found this album called The Past 6 Months, and there's pictures of me and you. Look at this. I'm pulling
in
it up.
Paris. Oh, I am a young 12.
You are you are a young 12. I'd say you look like a 9-year-old.
I
in
do.
these
I
pictures.
look really young.
But look at this. Firstly, what's that?
I call that a clue.
I pulled up a picture of Eddie with 2 children.
We all look young.
Interior of the apartment that we stayed in.
Uh-huh.
In terms of clues, you can't really... That's no different to
weak.
any... Yeah, it's very weak. In terms of Paris apartments, it could be anywhere.
Do you have anything else?
You can see a bit of the window.
Oh, a balcony.
They have a balcony, which I remember as well. And then I've got another clue. This is the best clue yet.
Uh-huh.
It's a picture of
Of
her.
Oliver. Oh.
Well, it's mostly of me. There's a picture of me in a patisserie rubbing my tummy. The patisserie we mentioned in the intro,
Uh-huh.
where she bought us a bunch of bread, and then she's in the background facing the baker, ordering. I think.
So almost useless.
Well, you can see that she has frizzy hair
A black top, blue jeans, and a
pink,
backpack.
pink backpack.
A pink backpack.
So the clues: maybe it's called Marie
Uh-huh.
or Maria. Worked as a tour guide in 2008.
Has frizzy hair.
Likes patisseries.
Uh-huh.
And has or had a pink backpack and had 2 young girls, which we have a picture of.
Got it.
So,
Not much to go off.
not much to go off, but enough
But
to
enough.
maybe start. There's one other thing
What?
that I should have added. At the time, I emailed her
Oh.
after we...
To say thanks, I'd
yeah,
hope.
to say, to say thanks. And I think we tried to send her flowers or something
That's right.
directly after, but this was
Didn't
back
have
in
an
the
address
days when
from her.
everyone had Hotmail.
Oh.
And Hotmail, Microsoft wiped all my emails,
Oh, no.
which is really sad. I lost a lot of emails from like deceased relatives and stuff. It was really sad. But also, as an added sadness, we lost contact with the tour guide. So we have decided that we'd do what any other hunters of a mystery would do.
Hire a private detective.
Well, I don't know if we can hire one. The budget's pretty...
Okay, well, at least we'll talk
I've
to her.
Googled one. I've Googled private investigator Paris.
Maybe you can
and,
give us a free quote.
well, I found parisdetective.com/English.
That'll do it.
Look at this.
Free advice by email.
Patrice Leotard is honest, trustworthy, and confidential. His methods are both conventional and original, as the case demands. So I found a website for Detective Leotard. Half day of work, €500. We can't afford that.
But he did say free advice.
Free advice. So I was thinking we'd give him a call. There's pictures of him. He's a serious detective.
Oh,
There's pictures
yeah.
of him on a scooter with a
And in
Camera?
a car with blacked out windows.
and on a
Oh.
boat with binoculars. We
Yep.
work in Paris. So I'm going to call.
Perfect.
I'm going to call the detective and tell him the leads that we've got and see if he can help us. What do you reckon?
Let's go for it.
Okay. Vous êtes détective, Monsieur Lyotard?
Yes.
My question, Detective Lyotard, is...
I gave him all the clues and asked if he thought it was possible.
No. It's not possible to find her because if you don't have a name plus surname plus birthday, it's impossible. You don't have you must obtain more details.
I have one more detail. I have a photo of her, but you can't see her face.
You don't have photos.
We have a photo of her, but it's just from behind. There's no face. Like, it's just her body.
We need a name, surname, and birthday. Without, it is impossible.
Okay, so I need a name and a surname. Okay.
Yes.
But even the fact that she worked in the tour office de tourisme on the Champs-Élysées, that doesn't help with just her first name?
No, the tourism office, many people work.
Okay, maybe Detective Leotard, I will get back to you. But how much does your service cost for this kind of mission?
It's 580.
580 euros. Okay. Okay, well, thank you for your help. Thank you very much. So I think the detective was right. We do have very few clues.
Not enough.
So the only obvious thing is to... I mean, we don't have the budget either.
We don't.
The obvious thing is to go out there.
Yeah, take it up on ourselves.
And we'll just ask the people that work there nowadays if they remember
Marie.
a woman with frizzy hair, pink backpack from 2008.
Maybe name Marie.
Okay, let's take a pause from the studio.
All right.
Let's go.
Roving reporters.
Red scooter?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay, Eddie, look on the left. It's the Eiffel Tower. Woo! So here we are on the Champs-Élysées, busy, lots of traffic,
But
but the first dead end is
Yes.
that the tourist booth is closed. Luckily, we got a warm crepe, and the man at the crepe place said they closed them for the winter. But you got a big smile on your face.
I just saw the Arc de Triomphe.
Up close,
I went round twice. It
personal, on a scooter.
was great.
Some say that's one of the most fun things to do in Paris.
I've never been on the back of a bike.
Anyway, what now? Back to the studio? Back
yeah.
to the internet.
Chasing the next lead, I believe.
Now, we may have sounded like we were in good spirits, but on the way back into the studio, I noticed that Eddie's mood had deflated somewhat. And it was understandable. All our ideas had backfired so far. As we were riding back into central Paris, I racked my brain thinking of who I knew that might be able to help us. And I remembered how I'd once met a German woman who was a beginner at tarot card reading. Her name was Fraulein Mysterium, and because she was a beginner, she offered her services for free. Now, with seemingly no better options, I convinced Eddie, who's famously skeptical of the occult, I convinced him to come along and have a little seance. Luckily, he agreed, so we met the Fraulein in a cafe near the Notre Dame, and this was the same coffee shop that Eddie and I had visited for a hot chocolate 10 years ago, and I was hoping the setting, plus the seance, might be able to jog his memory a little bit.
So, Fraulein,
Hi.
you're a beginner in tarot cards, and that's totally fine because we are beginner detectives.
Okay, good.
What's our question?
Well, our
Eddie?
question is, how do we find her?
How do we find the woman?
Okay. So I brought my deck of tarot cards, and I would have you like mix the cards up while you are questioning
So
how to find
we just
her.
think about how to find her.
Exactly. You have to, while mixing the cards, you have to really have this question in your mind, mixing them.
Do we
holding
both
them-
mix them, Fraulein, or
Well, you could spread them out in
Okay.
front of you here on the table
Okay.
and just mix them up. And
Okay.
whenever you're ready,
I wish I could get
you
the
will just
question out of
choose
my
one
mind.
card. Maybe you close your eyes and
we'll put our fingers together? But first we'll mix it.
On my hand,
Well, let's
I'll
mix it while we're looking. Just Fraulein
Keep
Mysterium,
thinking.
yeah,
just like this.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Keep
Yeah.
thinking.
How can we find the woman? How can we find her? So we close our eyes to pick one, or can we just pick one?
You can also look at them. Like you don't have to
Okay, let's
close
see
your
where the
eyes.
hand takes us. Okay, it's kind of moving in two directions. That's weird.
That's so spooky. It's like
Okay, we've got one.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So let's turn it upside down.
Okay.
It's number 20.
And there's an image on it of what looks
Describe
like.
the card. What do you see?
Well, it looks on the
I
top
see a
left.
forest,
Yeah, there's
a
forest,
fountain, a building.
and the 8 of spades on the top right.
8 of spades.
And yeah, it looks kind of like a.
So basically, what the
Kind of
card
looks like
is.
the Champs-Élysées.
It's true, actually. No, this card is the park.
Which is, can I just say, Fraulein, part of this story is that when we met this woman, and we've told this already, we went and sat in a park.
Oh wow,
To
that's
discuss
very
it.
good.
Yeah.
Very good
wow.
direction then.
There's a bench there.
Isn't it?
Oh no.
It's kind of not really.
I think
You could definitely sit there though.
That's true.
well, yes, definitely all around here.
Yeah.
So the park has different meanings. It could mean openness, meeting, which is perfect.
That's true.
Something will become clear, or it means nature, leisure time, and community. So this,
Something will become clear.
yeah, I guess.
Well, I hope so.
So how can we find her? How is that being answered? It's suggesting maybe positivity.
Definitely. I would totally see this as a link to how you met and like a like a confirmation of it's supposed to be that this card is showing where you met. It kind of makes sense. The ends meet. But how you meet her, maybe because what this card as well means is like social events, like community. It means like putting yourself out there, talking to people. So it maybe means that you have to just talk to more people and invest more effort and time to.
We talked to Detective Leotard, and he couldn't help.
Oh no.
He said the word was impossible.
Yeah, he did say impossibility.
Maybe what about, I don't know if you've already tried to go to the office where she worked and ask the colleagues or
Closed.
Closed.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore.
No. Fraulein, can I look at some of the other cards?
Of course.
Oh my god. At least we didn't get this death card. Look at that.
The death is actually
Oh, the bear.
not many people know, but the death is actually a positive card. It just
really?
means new beginnings.
That's
and,
right. I knew
yeah,
that. I forgot
fresh
about that.
starts and yeah.
Well, I'm glad we didn't get the explosion card.
I think that's the sun.
That's the sun.
Oh.
Basically, what this card as well means, I just looked it up online,
Yeah.
means places on which many people come together.
The park.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Facebook, 100% bingo.
We
Or
haven't-
LinkedIn.
We need to try Facebook.
Yeah.
Do you know where else people get in contact and
Where?
come together? Gmail.
And Twitter.
Ooh, social media.
Yeah. Social media, 100% sure.
We need to switch to social media.
You
Yeah.
need to get online.
Reach out for her. There's so many possibilities.
Fraulein Mysterium.
Yeah.
Would Pinterest work?
I guess that is the least favored of the.
Okay.
Of the psychic.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've got enough to.
I think I have my answer.
I have one more question.
Please go
Do
ahead.
you think we will find her?
I'm positive.
Whoa. That's big.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's
But
what
I
came
won't
here for.
guarantee.
Okay, thank you very much, Fraulein.
You're
Dankeschön.
welcome. Bitteschön.
So, armed with the blessing from the Fraulein, we headed back to the studio with a new sense of confidence. I took a closer look at the Facebook album from 10 years ago and at my emails, and each of them held a surprise. I showed Eddie the Facebook image of him with the two girls.
Take a look at this. I think you're going to like this. The picture with the young girls. Read the caption.
Eddie absolutely charming the ladies as usual.
This is the picture with you with the young
Mhm.
girls, even though you're all about 8.
It says, "This is the house we ended up staying in Paris. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read my blog, for God's sakes."
I missed that caption,
How
and
did
so did
me
you.
know that? I was too distracted by my...
I had a
Self.
blog when I traveled around Europe 10 years ago when
That's
blogs were
right.
the new cool thing. So
Does it still exist?
yeah, it's still up there. And
Well,
I
the
haven't looked at,
internet
and
is
I highly encourage people not to seek out my old travel blog. So I've pulled the page up. I've read it, but I haven't really looked into it. But look, I
cannot
told
believe
the
it.
story.
In full.
I told the story in full.
Oh my goodness.
Now I've read it through. There's no actual details about her place or who she is
Okay.
at all. But there are more pictures.
Oh God.
So look at this.
That's me and that's you.
There's me and you on the balcony.
Oh, what a great photo.
I'm a young 21 as well, by the way.
Absolutely.
But I was thinking with this in the background,
we have architectural
we have a clue.
clues.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't see any kind of like Eiffel Tower or anything, but you can see one building that's quite.
Quite
It
architecturally
almost looks like a town
unique.
hall. I thought, and I'm going to put all these pictures that we mentioned. I'll put them all up
Absolutely.
on theeiffeltower.com so you can check and enjoy the mystery with us.
With visuals.
Exactly. And I was thinking, there's a few other pictures.
Oh, excellent.
Us
Us fighting with a baguette.
Yeah, in front of the Notre Dame, you and the Eiffel Tower. Oh, yeah. Well, there's no other pictures that are going to help, but that's the main one.
That's the one.
And I was thinking,
In the excitement, I was interrupted by an incoming message on my phone.
it's weird. I literally just got an email from the private detective.
Again.
Yeah, I'll read it to you. It's just come through. Please note we need her approval before communicating her address. She is not okay. You lose your money. What does that mean?
Very cryptic.
What does that mean?
I don't think it matters.
She's not okay. You lose your money.
She's not okay.
Is that a threat?
I think it's a clue.
Please note that we need her approval before communicate her address. If she's not okay, you lose your money. Well, it looks like we're paying this detective now. Oh,
Christ.
God.
This is the most expensive episode to date.
No, anyway. So remember I said that all my emails have been
Deleted.
I was thinking maybe there's a chance it's on my another email address that I had.
Sure.
The one that I currently use, the Gmail account, right? So this is what I did. You're going to love this. Went to my Gmail.
Control F. Find.
Yeah, I will put in the search bar. I just put in Paris, right?
Sure.
So I put in Paris.
Okay.
And it says, here you're seeing the results, 1 to 50 of about 192. So I scrolled through. Turns out it's not out of 192.
Oh, no.
I went all the way to the back just to check, okay? Look at this. 400. This is how many messages I have that have the word Paris in it. Scrolling through.
700, 750, 800. That's not quite about 92.
No, I know.
Oh, my God.
We're over 1,000 messages on my Gmail account that have the word Paris.
How much correspondence do you do?
A lot about Paris.
I
But look, it eventually stops at 1413. Now, look at the very second from the bottom message. what's-
Marry me.
Mary, comma me. I clicked on it. There's a message to me.
From a Miss Mary.
Now, Eddie said her full name here, but I've cut it out for her privacy. I can tell you it begins with G, though, so we're going to call her Mary G from now on.
Hi, hope your visit to Paris ended up nicely. All the family enjoyed immensely meeting you. You were both great company. See you one of these days. Eduardo, Mary, Pierre, Audrey, and Alice.
No way. So I was wrong. It's not Marie.
Well, you were really close.
I was very close.
So she's responding to an email that I sent to her saying, we had a great last day in Paris. Thank you so much for all the advice and the lovely experience. We had a lovely cruise. Went up the Eiffel Tower, went to Notre Dame. It was fantastic. Blah, 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 blah.
No way.
Eddie and I spent the trip home trying to translate the comics from Pierre. Thank you very much, Pierre. Pierre must have given you comics.
I remember.
So all of a sudden, we have an email address.
We have an email address, and more importantly, we have a name.
Not just that, we have the name of our whole family.
So what's the next step?
Well, now we can track her, I'm sure.
On Facebook?
I don't think we need the detective either.
Well, hopefully we don't have to pay.
So let's have a look on Facebook. One result.
A Miss Mary
Paris,
in
France.
Paris.
Would you
Funnily
believe it?
enough, her Facebook profile picture again has her face
Her face is covered.
by a flower this time. But
Yeah,
I do see
by
curly
roots of
hair.
flowers, yeah. So I think we found her Facebook account.
No way.
Yeah. Lives in Paris, France. Very private account. Almost impossible to find her, I
She
think.
probably does this all the time, and that's why she keeps that.
You think she lets lots of people
Yeah,
stay at her house?
exactly.
So
With no other option, I added her on Facebook and sent her a message to say a polite hello. I kept the message short, and I also sent her an email at the email address from 10 years ago. But instead of waiting for a response, and because Eddie was due to leave town at the end of the weekend, we pushed on with a search.
well, the obvious next step is to Google Mary G, but obviously her full name.
I guess we are our own private investigators now.
Yeah, we don't need
we don't
the
need
580.
No.
But here's the best thing. Look, the woman called Mary G is an up-and-coming actress.
She's an actress and a writer.
So everything that comes up for this
Oh,
name
no.
is this
Every Google search is for this.
a rising star. She's a
Yeah,
young
starlet.
starlet. Yeah. And I found a demo reel. Do you want to hear it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is she any good?
She just stops. And then everyone in the cafeteria freaks, rushing in.
She's not very
pointing
good.
out the window.
That's why she's an up-and-coming starlet.
Yeah.
Could that really be her?
Oh, that was weird. Could that really be her?
My sentiments exactly.
Thanks.
And it's not her.
So that makes it a bit more difficult to Google this woman
God.
because of the up-and-coming starlet.
Another roadblock.
So everything on Google, and there's
Everything. The first
there's 6.5 million results, and it's almost all
probably
about.
all
Yeah.
Miss Mary.
So I've gone through pages, can't find anything. Even when you put in Paris, it's impossible.
Should we call back?
I don't think we can afford.
No, we
the
don't have the
detective.
money. We could do a fundraiser, but we don't have the time.
No, we don't have the time.
Are you sure there's no anything else on the email that has a number in it?
Probably.
Knowing you, you've missed another crucial detail on the email.
Eddie didn't know how right he was, but foolishly I didn't acknowledge him here. I went to the French version of the Yellow Pages and got one single hit. Bingo. It seemed we found her.
I think that's her.
Should we try and call her?
Let's give her a call. Let's risk it. If it's not her, we'll just hang up straight away.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm a bit nervous though.
Okay, we have to do it.
Go on, type it in.
I'm nervous. This has been 10 years.
It's been 10
A
years.
story that I've told over the years a lot.
I know. I've told it a couple of times
Have
too.
you?
It's like a long lost lover that you're daring to get back in contact with. You calling?
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm nervous. It's
I'll
ringing.
do the talking, but you can shoot.
God, I'm freaking out.
Vous êtes bien sur le répondeur Bouygues Télécom. Merci de laisser un message après le bip sonore.
I left a phone message.
My heart is beating.
Is it?
I'm really nervous. Should I put it? How about this for some visceral entertainment?
You're putting the microphone to your heart. How to find her? I don't know what to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it appears we can't find her. But thanks for listening. Stay tuned next week for another regular episode. And we'll leave the detective work to the detectives.
I think we need to look up her kids.
I think so too.
Yeah, okay, let's do that.
I'm beginning to understand why it costs $580
That's true.
to search for people.
Yep.
I wonder what tools he has that we don't.
He was right. It was a big job. From here, we literally spent hours on Facebook looking up a whole family. We're on Instagram, Facebook, photography pages that Mary sometimes contributes to. Eddie went a bit far if you ask me and looked up some of her most regular faces that she'd photographed. We considered contacting them and asking for Mary's details, but we stopped short. That was a bit creepy. While Eddie was trawling through social media, I was retracing our steps and looking at all the older me emails again. And that's when Eddie had the brainwave of putting Mary's email address into my Gmail search bar. Bingo again.
Subject line, remember me.
Date?
Turns out we don't.
Late
but-
2008. Hello, remember me? I say to her. How are you? Everything's fine in London. I wish I was back in Australia. I was wondering what your postal address is because my little brother Eddie wants to send something from New Zealand.
Oh my goodness.
She's responded. That's
Here is our address.
She sent her email address, which I'm not going to read out on the
It's
air.
not her email address. It's her home
It's
address.
her home address, sorry. And it's from... So in 2008, we have her home address. I'm not going to read it out on air, but it's in a suburb of Paris called Courbevoie.
No
Courbevoie.
way.
I don't even know where that is. Let's look it up. Courbevoie. So this must be the place that we went. But look, that looks about right.
It's there?
There's the Champs-Elysees there.
Great.
She lived there. So I'd say that's about a 20-minute train ride, which fits.
Which fits the description.
You know what else we can do? Is we can look up her address and do a street view.
Onto Google Maps.
Yeah. So...
Ladies and gentlemen, this plot is unfolding in front of my very eyes.
So the
and
next
your
thing,
very ears.
the next thing we need to do is go to that address.
You think we can just turn up?
I think we have to,
For the sake of the story.
right?
For the listeners.
See if this rings a bell to you. Street view. There you go.
You know what that
There's
does
the
ring a
balcony.
bell.
And look, what if we turn around? We should see the same. There's that sort of town hall looking building that we saw off the balcony.
No
We have her
way.
address from 10 years ago.
Talking about ringing bells.
Yeah.
Should we go ring hers?
Shall we?
Let's go.
I think we should. Let's take the scooter out to Courbevoie.
So I've just pulled over the scooter. This is Montmartre. See that thing up there?
Yeah, what's that?
Sacré-Cœur.
Oh, I've seen that.
Whoa, watch out. Ooh. And now we're going into the suburbs. Ooh. Take the wheel.
We arrived after a long, cold scooter ride, crossing the Seine River and ending up in the suburbs of northwestern Paris, Courbevoie.
Here we are, on the street.
What do you think's going to happen?
I can see the building that was behind us in the photo from Facebook. And we're underneath her balcony now. Well, where she used to live anyway.
Feels like a dream.
I'm nervous. Are you nervous? What
I'm
are we going
really
to say
nervous.
to her?
Bonjour.
Hey, let's walk up and press the button.
Let's do it.
Or we'll see if her name's on the button. Oh my god. Is this how you remember it?
Well, we were here at night,
That's true.
but it is how I remember it.
Oh my god. Okay, come on, we're at the door. Ow. Well, can we just open it? Yep, it opens. The door opens. First door opens. Looking at the letterboxes. Doesn't
look like her name's
But there's numbers.
What number? What?
Bonjour. Excusez-moi, vous savez si quelqu'un qui s'appelle Mary habite ici? Vous ne savez pas? Ok, merci beaucoup. Ok. Okay, let's look at some names. Arzel.
That's a bad sign to start.
But look, Alice. Her daughter was called Alice.
That's true.
We've come all this way. There's no name that matches on the letterbox. But there's an Alice. And we know her daughter was named Alice. So we have to ring that one and see what happens. Are you ready, Eddie?
I'm ready.
I'm nervous.
I'm skeptical.
Okay, let's go. I'm pressing the button.
What was that?
I pressed the button, no response.
That's not a good sign.
We can't very well ring every single number, can we?
No.
Okay.
Back to the drawing board.
We need another idea. Okay, useless. Great. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, thanks a lot.
We went outside again.
If she had the top floor apartment, I assume that my logic was correct in that it'd be the highest number.
Based on the view.
Based on the views.
So we're standing up the front and looking up there.
What if we call that apartment?
There's one door open. Yell out Mary.
Mary! Nothing happened.
Nothing. Yell out. Just yell out. We're the two people you looked after 10 years ago.
We're the two people you looked after 10 years ago.
Here, seeking salvation.
Here, seeking salvation. If you really exist, show yourself.
It was clear, after all our hard work and our trips around Paris, we'd gotten no closer to Mary. We headed home and allowed her as much time as possible to respond to calls and emails, but got nothing. Or did we? On Eddie's last day in Paris, we headed back into the studio to share our final thoughts, and I had one last trick up my sleeve for my little brother.
Well, we're back in the studio. You don't look impressed after this weekend.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
Well, I thought we were going to have her in the studio.
Yeah, I thought we'd have Mary in the studio too, by now. And I think a lot of the listeners probably thought this would be a bit of a reunion show, but it didn't work out that way.
I know, it's kind of a waste of a weekend, really.
Well, maybe it's not a waste of a weekend.
Why?
You see the glitter in my eye?
Yeah, why are you grinning?
I'm happy about something.
What?
And I think you're going to like it. I've just organised. Let me just check the time.
God.
It's exactly 5:30.
You're
and
kidding.
And there's going to be a bit of a surprise, I think, right now, waiting outside
serious?
the door.
You didn't.
Just wait for that knock.
Oh my God.
Someone at the door
Can I
ready.
get it? I'm getting it.
Do you know who it is?
It's Mary, isn't it?
It is.
Corey?
Corey Fry, tour guide extraordinaire. Come in, Corey. How you doing?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, if you just sit there, I'm going to finish off the story with Eddie. It's Corey, Eddie.
I thought it was going to be another tour guide.
You thought it'd be Mary?
Yes.
I think we established that we couldn't find Mary.
Got my hopes up again.
Yeah, but Corey.
Sorry, yeah. Hey, Corey.
So, there you go. We didn't find Mary, but Corey's here for his Corey story. What's wrong? You still think it's a waste?
I do.
It's not a waste.
Why not?
Well, we actually managed to achieve a lot over this weekend. If you think about it. I mean, we didn't find Mary, but on your trip to Paris, we took a scooter ride in Paris, which you've never done before. We went down the Champs-Elysees.
Yeah.
We went past the Earful Tower. We
saw the Arc de Triomphe.
We did. We went around it twice. That was pretty fun.
That was fun.
We went past Montmartre, Sacré-Cœur.
Oh, yeah.
You dabbled in Paris's coffee culture, which is something I talk about a lot on this show, actually.
I met a detective.
You almost met a detective.
Well, so I
We
spoke to him on the
talked.
phone.
Yeah. And some colourful characters from Paris scene, including
You're right.
tarot
you're
reader.
Right. Fräulein Mysterium.
So in a way, you have had a bit of an adventure. And I was thinking about it last night. You were asleep. I stayed up. And I was thinking about it. I was watching you sleeping. It's true. I was. And I was thinking, he did have an adventure. And in a way, roundabout way, of course, I feel like Mary sort of inadvertently organised one last adventure for us together in Paris.
A tour from beyond the grave.
Beyond the grave. She's not dead. I mean, she just doesn't answer her Facebook.
Oh.
Anyway, I think we sort of had one big adventure. You had a good weekend.
Right.
You had a good weekend. So there you go. There's morals and lessons to be learned from the story. Most importantly, perhaps, that I should plan better. 10 years ago, I didn't plan. Look what happened. And this time I didn't plan. I mean, I should have tried to reach out to her earlier, but we only had one weekend.
Or you could say, the moral is, don't plan, you'll still have an adventure.
And that's a really interesting moral because Paris is like that. Anyone listening who's never been to Paris or has been once or wants to come or lives here, you'll know that not planning, going out being a flâneur, walking without a purpose, can sometimes, Corey's nodding, look at that, can sometimes yield to the greatest stories and experiences in this beautiful city.
Ah, you're right. I take it all back. I had a great time.
Thanks
for
you, me
showing
too.
around.
I think the listeners are out there going, yeah,
Nodding.
I didn't want to hear from Mary.
No.
I don't even remember if she spoke good English anyway, to be honest.
Did she even exist?
So there you go, Eddie. Thanks for that.
All right. Well, thank you.
Can you?
Okay, what?
Well, Corey needs to, we only have the microphone for
Are you
Corey.
want me to go?
Yeah.
Or should I wait for you?
No, just go out the front and wait. There's a park down the stairs. Sit on the bench out there.
The bench?
Yeah, wait for me on the bench.
Oh, man. Some things never change.
Sorry, bud.
All right. Well, Earful Tower listeners, this is
What are you
Eddie
doing?
G.
What are you doing there?
I'm
Outro?
signing out. Yeah,
Oh,
this
okay.
is Eddie G checking out. It's been a great time. I've had a lovely time entertaining you through the airwaves.
You don't know if you've entertained them.
I hope I have.
You maybe have, yeah.
All right, and I'm going to do a little shout out here, not for myself, but for the live show coming up.
Hey,
December 13th.
Wow,
Ooh,
thanks.
we
Hey,
should
we got a
pick
co-host
me.
in you.
Yeah, there we go.
I like that we're always finishing each other's
Sandwiches.
forget that one. But yeah, live show.
Yeah, I wish I could be there. Sorry, I won't be, but I hope
You know the
all
story.
are.
You're one of the very few people. Corey too.
I do, and I won't give away anything.
Good. Don't.
No, I won't. You're right.
No. Good.
Go and hear it for yourself.
Yeah. Get out of here.
All right. Goodbye.
See you
Goodbye,
later, buddy.
everybody.
On the bench. Corey.
Hey.
Bit of an unceremonious exit for Eddie, but
Yeah, but he's your brother. I mean, you guys kind of...
yeah, I hope he's okay on the bench. Ooh. Anyway, do
He's
you
awesome.
have a story somehow related to this journey we've been on?
Yeah, I do, because you were talking about trying to get a private detective
Oh,
to
we
track
got the private detective.
somebody down.
Well, he said it was impossible, but
Yeah, but you didn't really track her down in the end.
no.
So it was a little bit of a failure.
Thanks, Corey, for rubbing it in.
But I am here to link a story of a private detective. In fact, there's a guy, this is a great character that people should really know more about. He created the first private detective agency in the world
Ooh.
in the 19th century in Paris. So his name was Vidocq.
Vidocq.
Vidocq. Now, Vidocq, in a long story short, he was a lifetime criminal. Like at the age of 13, he stole his parents' silver cutlery to try to sell it and get money to sail to America. It was like 100,000 francs worth of silver, and he gets all that money, and he's going to head off to North America. He gets drunk at a bar, and everyone steal the money from the guy, and so he gets eventually sent to prison and to the army, and he gets kicked out, and then he actually gets incarcerated so many times that he convinces the police of Paris to hire him secretly as an informant, as a mole. So he is going to be in prison, and he's going to, as a hardened criminal, infiltrate other criminal groups, and it's going to lead to multiple arrests. In fact, he became so effective because he was a master of disguises, he was super charming, and he basically arrested, thanks to him and his team, his secret team in Paris, they arrested 3 times as many criminals as the actual police force of Paris.
Wow.
And he was secretly paid huge sums of money, but he was still kind of a criminal himself. So if you want to visit an address related to this guy, Vidocq, you can go in the Galerie Vivienne.
Oh, I love that. Second
Yeah.
arrondissement.
Second arrondissement, it's one of the covered passages of Paris.
You love those covered passages.
Yeah, I give tours of those all the
Yeah.
time, but as a side
You're
note.
always talking about them off air.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
love
obsessed.
those.
Yeah.
No, I gave a tour of them today, so if anybody wants to check out the covered passages, you know where to find me. But at number 13 of the Galerie Vivienne, there's a spiral staircase that winds up to the office of Vidocq.
Oh.
And Vidocq the police hated him because he was working as his separate entity in this detective agency. So the police would go in and do surprise raids of his office, trying to find, criminal incriminating evidence and stuff. They say that there was a secret passage underneath the gallery that would lead to the Palais Royal. And I would love to find that. I want to know if it exists.
Do you ever wonder, there must be so many secret passages in this city.
It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, there's another one under a famous jazz club called the Caveau de la Huchette
Okay.
in the Latin Quarter.
Oh.
Steps from Shakespeare and Company.
Okay.
They say that during the Revolution, the revolutionaries were in the basement there, where now they have jazz concerts, and they were executing people, like enemies of the revolution, and dumping their bodies down into the well there in the basement. And there was a secret passage that led from that to other areas of Paris.
I've been to that jazz club.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Isn't that the jazz club from La La Land?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, when
it
she
is.
yeah.
So next time anyone's down there, look for the secret passage.
Yeah, and tell us if you find it.
Yeah, you owe us that at least.
Yeah, and if you know, listeners, of any secret passages in Paris that you haven't told anyone about, let us know and we'll go and check it out.
Maybe we'll do a show from there. Now, before we wrap things up, Oliver, I know we're pressed for time. I have to say that this guy Vidocq, one reason I love him is he was such a character and had so many great detective skills that he actually inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Help me with this. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I haven't had enough coffee today. For the Sherlock Holmes character.
He was an inspiration for Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's ultimately where I was trying to get with this.
Wow, the 100-year-old detective. And you know what? Some say he's still alive.
Who?
I don't know.
Vidocq?
Me? I'm adding some to your story.
Oh, well, by the way, he's supposed to be buried in Père Lachaise, but nobody has found his tomb. So we don't know where Vidocq is actually located.
Well, there's something to do, guys, when you walk around Père Lachaise. Look for Vidocq's tomb.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thanks for this was the penultimate season finale episode.
Whoa.
Thanks for joining me on it.
Penultimate.
And you will be in the season finale. And the season finale is in a few days, 3 days, I think. December 13th, I'll be releasing it, and there will obviously be a live show in Paris. And if you haven't got your tickets yet, message me right now.
Urgent.
Yes, very urgent indeed. Thanks for coming in, Corey, and thanks to everyone who's listened this far. Thanks to my brother for coming along. And, no thanks to Mary for never responding to my emails. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the ride as well. But as for this season finale, December 13th, it's at the Point FMR bar from 7 o'clock. Don't be late. It's a live show and then a Christmas party afterwards. Tickets are by donation. If you live abroad and you can't make it, but you've enjoyed the past 2 seasons of the Earful Tower, feel free to make a donation as well. It'll inspire me to come back for season 3. Anyway, on to the season finale.
Earful Tower with Oliver G.